Well, Mr. Tony Dara is still with us in the studios. Just before we went on the break, you were talking about how, the equipment were quite obsolete and why you had to break ranks. Now, what has been the response of the National Broadcasting Commission to this?
Well, I have not had direct, or probably what I'll probably say, semi-official conversation with them. But, one-on-one, I have spoken to a few friends in there that this doesn't look right. However, I'm privileged enough to be able to speak with the minister. On several occasions, I've mentioned to him that...
That's the Minister for Information.
Yes, Lai Mohammed. I've said that to him several times that, look, what's going on here doesn't make sense. Now, I'm a professional, and I'm speaking based on my personal convictions that we cannot and we shouldn't, as professionals, within these whole sectors, engineers, behave this way. Our creed is excellence and quality. And we do things without a care that it affects our integrity. It doesn't make sense. The tokenism of saying, oh, it's going to work, it's fine, its transmitters last 10 years, does not make sense. These items are made from discrete components. And over a period of time, they wear and tear. And whenever they're improved, the system architecture changes. So in other words, when we talk about retrofitting them, which is what they're calling, some of them are arguing about backward integration, it doesn't really work for a long period of time. And doesn't really make sense, because at the end of the day, you can't maintain them. And when you hear a product manufacturer saying that we've discontinued this, and then on that same website, and I'm trying to use this, the website issue, point to the website, because the information is very, very clear that there are successor products to these transmitters, 2 successor products, not only 1, but 2. But we still insist that we use the old ones, looking ahead into the future, knowing that in this era of digital technology, there are a lot of disruptions, and that when new things come, it's virtually impossible to adapt. Now, the InView guys who provide the EPG data, our colleagues, our people that I interact with as well, they are complaining that the system is incompatible because the metadata doesn't fit what the current system should look or operate with.
So you say you've had the privilege to speak with the minister. What has been his response?
Well, the thing is that his response hasn't been towards making those changes, and that's why I'm speaking up. I'm a Nigerian, and I have every right to do so.
Well, if I'm to go with the response here, you say that the minister seems to be bothered about how you were able to syndicate the advertorial.
Without looking at the content. I actually found it very insulting, to be honest.
Why?
Because why would he care about syndicating a report instead of the content of the report?
Do you speak for, other stakeholders within the industry?
I do as well, because a lot of stakeholders who are also not happy with what is going on have voiced to me that they're happy that I'm able to speak up. And I'm not going to speak about the signal distributors. I'm also going to speak about every other thing that's within the value chain.
Yeah, because I was just about to ask you, if the signal distribution was your only area of concern within digitization, is everything else okay? For instance, those who are manufacturing the set-top boxes and things like that, are we all on track, or do we look like, again, we're set or we're doomed to miss another target?
Well, without repeating much of what I'm going to say, I actually think that the set-top box issue is rather a hit and miss, in the sense that going forward, a lot of TV manufacturers would manufacture TV with digital tuners. So along the line, you see that the set-top box manufacturers begin to manufacture TV as well. That little decoder box will be useless as time goes on, because, I mean, I have a TV set that has a digital tuner in it. I don't need a set-top box to watch anything.
So do we have a situation where stakeholders are having the critical conversation? Because you do know that technology doesn't really wait for anyone.
Absolutely.
It evolves, I mean, as quickly as possible. And, you know, are they, now that we've not even met the first target, we've missed so many targets, as it were, are we really looking towards the future for the kind of technology that we're putting on the ground?
Well, I'm not sure we are. And what is even more sinister, in my opinion, is that talking about transmission, going back to transmission now, a transmitter will have a geographical area. There must be a plan for rollout. We don't seem to have even a transmitter plan, a radiation plan. Nothing is visible. You have a project, and there is no visible plan. You are channels, you have transmission systems. How much can you contribute to the system? You don't know, because there's no plan to it. There's a white paper, there's a digit team, but what else is happening? Nothing. Nothing is visible.
Does this entire thing appear to you to have been thoroughly thought out?
The guys who wrote the white paper were very patriotic. They knew what they were doing. But those who took over from that point, especially the leadership of the NBC, and I have tried to tell people who care to listen that this is an inherited problem.